no shame. I'm in it for the money and fame. Everybody wants to be like me. The feeling is the one that you came to see. Sick of all the good guys saving the day. 'Cause the feeling always wins when the hero's away.
We're on part 3 of Pass and Move, ladies and gentlemen. The vocal stand is there of who the fucking hell's this?
No, that's not who it is. We decided not to use that track.
Villains.
No, it's called Villains is the song.
Right.
And it's Theory of a Dead Man.
Who the fucking hell are Theory of a Dead Man? Who are they? Who are they?
They only had one song out.
It's a great.
Are you familiar with this?
I've got no idea, and I feel I've got some knowledge.
It's sort of, Stuart would like it. It's sort of slightly more modern death metal. Stuart would love it.
Oh, blimey, O'Reilly, you've gone out there, haven't you?
Tremendous, well done.
No, it's not quite that. No, it's just a little bit of American rock, but it's a good track.
And there are no like 80s soul records that had the word villain.
Well, no, but we did go with. There's a current, a really nice, really good current electro band called Villains, but no, it didn't get voted in. You say so.
Who's voting?
Yeah.
Who's voting now?
Your choices, don't you?
It's like those radar figures, like that judge how popular a show is, and I don't know one person that has ever been asked to do radar report.
No, never.
Yes. Radar, that was a good track. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. There you go.
Nice.
Let's have a party.
Let's have a party. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, with me still is Moose. There he is. Hello there. DJ Spoony. There he is. There you are. And Liverpool.
Before we start on because this is really good because
right, I've
got someone and I like to bring this into the conversation. I've got a gentleman sat between you and me, like a rose between two thorns.
Okay.
Who doesn't know the story of Christopher Stones?
Well, now Marcus Babbel. Yeah. Marcus Babbel, I would say probably one of our greatest defenders who played for the
very good player.
History. He, you remember when Marcus Babbel got poorly? He had a thing called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is quite a serious thing. My dad had it actually, and never really quite recovered from it. But Guillain-Barré syndrome now is treatable. It's a treatable thing, but of course it basically fucks your immune system up and makes you weak and so obviously they can pump you full of drugs and stuff and get you fit again but sometimes it takes a little bit extra and so Christa Berg found out about he's a big Liverpool fan, Christa Berg, Lennon Red and all that he found out about Marcus Babbel and his Guillain-Barré syndrome and he likes the crystals. He thinks he's got special magic crystals. So he comes and where did he find him? How did he meet him?
Well, no, he actually approached the club and said, "I have
hot stones. I
have some special stones." So he brings out his special. He meets him at Barnes and nice to see you with Marcus Babbel here, and Marcus Babbel lay out, and Christa Berg took out his special stones and agitated his special stones above Marcus Babbel. Oh, special stones. Oh, special stones. Oh, special stones. And Marcus Babbel then made a miraculous recovery and became a better player than he was. He actually didn't. He was worse. But yet, Christa Berg healed Marcus Babbel.
And Marcus Babbel to this day, Spoony, seriously, that's what Marcus Babbel believes cleared him.
Like I said earlier, doesn't matter how things are, it just matters how they appear.
Yes, yeah, well,
the reason I brought that up is because from January, you'll be able to buy your healing power of Christopher Stone's Pass and Move t-shirts.
Special powers, heavy stones.
Maybe the players should wear those underneath their red shirts as opposed to the as opposed to the Under Armours or Warriors.
You could do like a Robbie Fowler ad. You could have like a strap of like a plaster over his nose with special stones independently. So that's Marcus Babbel for you.
I didn't throw that in for no reason. That's one of my highlights of the season so far. Okay. So we're talking about obviously going what's coming out for the rest of the season. What's coming
up? Yes.
Yes, we're going to be talking about what's coming up for the rest of the season.
What's coming up?
Yeah. Erudite to the end.
So we're going to say how we've done so far, but more looking forward about where we think we'll finish and what does the team need. Should we start with you, since you're a special guest? What do you think? Where do you think we'll finish, and what does the team need?
Where do I think we'll finish? That's going to be... That's a difficult one because I think there's so many teams now competing that are around the same kind of level. Where before you used to have the top four of Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea. Now Man City are in that mix. Now Tottenham are in that mix. Everton are also in that mix. Liverpool are now going to be in that mix. We're now looking at least 8 clubs. West Brom have been brilliant so far this season, and I think they'll keep it up. I don't think they'll finish in the top 4, but I think they'll definitely finish in the top 8. What it's going to largely come down to is going on a run, and I think that the blip against Aston Villa, I'd hope it doesn't cost us too much come the end of the season, because the next 4 games we've got a nice run of games. But then, if we win all 4 of those, and I think we should win at least 3 of those games, and I think out of the 4 games, the next 4 games coming up, I'll be very disappointed if we picked up anything less than 9 points.
So, January's arrived. FSG have given you the money. What type of player do you think we need? Not who we're getting.
Yeah.
If the money was in your hands, what type of player do we need?
I think we need a powerful central midfield player, and I think we need someone that can sit in there. We almost signed the Army who went to West Ham. That is the kind of player. Someone who's mobile, someone who's good in the tackle, also comfortable on the ball. Steven Nzonzi I wouldn't have minded as well. He's young. Dembele again. But Dembele's slightly different because he's more of a glider going forward. I think we need someone big and strong in the middle, because I think we could then release Gerrard further up the park. I think he's having to keep Gerrard there because Gerrard kind of is meant to be being that man, but I don't think he's doing it.
Because Stephen won't play anywhere else but in the middle of the park.
But I think he should play middle forward now.
When do you think the day comes when we have to look at putting Gerrard on the bench? How far away are we? He's got another 2 years at least. Right.
Yeah, he's got another 2 years, because if you think Carragher, this has been the first maybe year going back to date that Carragher hasn't been first choice starter, and Gerrard has still got a couple of years before he gets in that. And I think if he plays further forward, he'll be even more effective.
And if what he should do is that he should retire from international football,
and concentrate on Liverpool. Yeah, but we could do with a little magician, a Silva, a Mata.
I'd settle for a Tom Cleverley, to be completely honest. We've got one in Suso.
Yeah, I think Cleverley's okay. I think he's benefited from the fact that Kagawa's been injured and hasn't played as much for Man United this season. And really, I think Manchester United, because their manager is so great, that as a team, their sum is definitely greater than their parts.
Of course,
I don't think they're a bunch of great individuals at the moment.
I think it's got 2 standout players in it.
Yeah.
And they're both play up front.
And they're both play up front. Yeah. And I think, but because he's Ferguson, he's got him. I think Cleverley at any other time most probably wouldn't even be playing for Manchester United. And I'm not so certain he's anything more effective than Shelvey's been for us, if I'm completely honest.
So
he's a good player.
Prediction. Where would you think we'll finish?
I think we'll finish 6th.
Okay. I think we're all going to be around the same figure, aren't we? Essentially. Go on, Miss. What's missing?
What's missing? Left back, without a doubt, because Enrique, I think he's been fantastic, has reinvented himself very much with what Brendan required of his players. Sorry, we didn't mention this Windy Pops there. I don't know what the time was, but my first ever Windy Pops, actually. Nice. That's my award for the day. I don't think that Enrique would be a first choice starter under Brendan, even though he has completely reinvented himself. I think he'd become one of Brendan's plan Bs that we're saying hasn't got. So a left back, or you're going to end up with Johnson playing over there in Wisdom at right back, which I don't have a problem with, but we still don't. He doesn't seem to believe in Robinson. Jack doesn't get anywhere near the squad at the moment.
I think it's strange though, because he's been great whenever he's played, I think, Robinson.
Well, then maybe there's a longer term thing there, but he doesn't seem to get much of a sniff at the moment. So a left back would probably be a choice for me. I'm totally in agreement with Spoony that a big, strong, ball-winning midfielder there, because we've seen what happens when Lucas disappears from the team, and we're yet to see if Lucas has come back to be the Lucas we had. Yeah, it's a long way back to get to that level of football. You know, you're probably not even going to see him get towards his best, if his best is still there, until about March or April anyway. It's a long way back to get to that. So I'd like to see some more options, ball-winning options in centre midfield. I'm fairly happy with the creative aspect, especially someone else would allow Alan to have a rest as well. And then we come to the forward line, which everybody, I'm not even really going to go there because everybody knows what we need. I'd still, again, agree with
That's why I didn't mention that, as I thought it was quite obvious.
Yeah,
but
I'd love to see Gerrard played as a second striker, I still would. Much. I think he knows where the net is. You only have to look at West Ham 2 weeks ago, who have got more than, as we mentioned in the podcast, you know, more reason than most not to let Steven Gerrard shoot when he's 25, 30 yards away from goal. You know, every time he gets the ball, his shooting hasn't been fantastic this season so far, but he occupies people. He is a goal threat, and I'd like to see it.
I don't think he really is anymore. I genuinely. I mean, I love Steven Gerrard. I think he's been fantastic. At the moment, there's more of an argument for me to rest Gerrard than there is almost anybody else. I think I'd like to see Henderson and Shelvey play central midfield, because they've both got proper engines.
See, I've got to be honest with you. Like, I'm not.
Finish the sentence. Go on.
Henderson, I'm going to have Gerrard as is on a bad day over Henderson.
Yes.
And let me just qualify this. This is not because I like digging people out, because I genuinely don't. And I think that Henderson tries his absolute hardest. I think he gives it his all, but I think he's lacking in confidence. And I think for that reason, Gerrard still thinks he can hit it in the top corner from 30 yards, and he can. He still can run past people, but he's playing in a team at the moment
Henderson,
that is struggling.
Sorry, by the way, this didn't come up. We might as well mention it now because it's going forward. Is one of your income generators that we spoke about earlier. Right. Jordan Henderson, 10.75 million to Fulham is looking fairly done and dusted.
That's a good bit of business then, I think, because he has fallen.
And part of that is part of the reason why Fulham went very, very quiet on
that makes sense
as well.
I just think, I mean, like you say, Henderson struggles with confidence. Confidence problem is when he plays with Steven Gerrard. When Steven Gerrard's not in the team, he's a much better player, because he plays in Steven Gerrard's position, number one, and number two, he's in all of them.
So the difficulty there would be then, if whilst Gerrard is fit, Gerrard has to play. Yeah. If Gerrard was injured and then Henderson came in and went on a run, then maybe he would feel worthy of that position. Shirt. But at the moment, he's not gonna feel it.
There's a lot covered that I would have said about the season so far. But I think if we focus it on the Gerrard point, and then I said this in the warm up before this weekend, is that what we've got with Gerrard is a player who doesn't know what player he is right now. He's been the player that's dragged the whole team along for 5 years, if not more. Yeah. And suddenly he's in a squad where that baton's been passed to Suarez, as it were. So he's not the one that has to do it all. But he doesn't seem to be anyone. He doesn't seem able to play with Suarez in that sense.
Because I think he's playing too far away from him.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. So I think that whilst Gerrard is playing like a more conservative way, that sort of is sort of playing Liverpool with one hand tied behind the back.
He's inhibiting himself.
That's what I'm saying. It's him, not Rodgers.
He's having to do that because that's what he's doing. What the manager's asking.
I think that's for the season fan. If we carry on like that, you see, I think we're just going to have a player that we hope will hit that 25-yard screamer. Whereas it's more likely just to be running across the middle of the path.
I'd rather see him playing wide of the three right at the front and providing, because you go back to fact. Where was his most effective performance?
Oh yeah, and we all think it, don't we?
This is a fact that Torres was so effective for Liverpool, and why he's been quite ineffective for Chelsea, because when Gerrard would get the ball in that final third, he wouldn't take 2, 3, 4 touches. He would just go boom, and by that time, Torres is already off. Now, if you look at how Chelsea play now, it's that doesn't suit playing with Fernando Torres. And I think that if Gerrard is playing with Suarez, he will play that clever pass quickly. He's got the ability to do that. As good as Sterling is, that is not really Sterling's game. You know, little round the corners, you know, the 1-2s. Yeah, he'll run at someone and take them on that way. But I think Gerrard playing nearer to Suarez, we'll see a different player.
Under 21s, last season, Sterling was Suarez. Sterling played Suarez's role, the 5-goal romp, everything that brought him to attention. Sterling played, because the level of football, that's not a criticism, the level of football, he's playing with people where there's not that much mixture of age, because all the same age, he played the Suarez role. Now, you've already taken that kid and said to him, just do it a little bit out there. That's a culture shock in itself. Yeah. That's a culture. And if you watch Stuart in the game, he plays, which is the thing that I've always said Brendan builds towards, but we still haven't got the third player, because that guy stays in the centre, although Louis tends to drop about, but that guy stays in the centre, and these two do that every 15 minutes. All the time. Shelvey, this weekend, Sterling, swap.
I was going to go back to midfield, and my thing with midfield, and I said that in the week, I think we've got an embarrassment of riches in the central midfield. I really do. But they're all similar types of players.
We don't know what the equation is, do we? We don't know what the 3 is. We've got more than 3 to choose from.
And they're all similar types of players. I don't think any of them is a I think Lucas is obviously the defensive player. We haven't got another one really who can play that role. Henderson's been a square peg, being pushed into that role, and we haven't got a. Suso is the only creative midfield player. Really creative.
Purely creative midfield.
Yeah. In that position, Gerrard has the ability to do that. But whilst he's playing further back, he's not effective there.
He's too isolated.
Rodgers clearly trusts Alan more than any of the midfield at the moment.
But he's the one player in the squad that he bought.
No, that's what I'm saying. But he obviously brought him, and he trusts him more than anybody else because he'll do what he tells him, whereas other players aren't necessarily able to do it. So he ends up playing Alan in all the different parts. Whereas I think, if I'm right, I think that Şahin, when he was in the Bundesliga, was playing almost like the Alonso role, wasn't he? Where he was across the midfield, every ball, and it was spraying out, and the attackers knew what was going to happen. And yet, he's not been given that role, and that would have freed Alan up.
Why is he not playing? Why is he not even on the bench?
I'm trying to think the game. It might have been... It wasn't a Man City game. There was one game that I saw, and he did look a little bit...
His first performance against Arsenal was poor.
Yeah.
He was straight off the plane. Then he was fantastic against Swansea.
Yeah.
But then he played Gerrard's role against Swansea. Yeah. He played the attacking, breaking into midfield. He joined Suarez. He joined the box. Scored a tap-in.
Yeah, against Norwich and the West Brom game in the cup.
Manchester United, it was around that period of time, 3 or 4 games in, when we thought he was beginning to settle, he disappeared. Totally.
Since the Norwich game, basically.
Yeah. But on the pitch, on that particular game, he disappeared. And I think Brendan's worried that physically he's got another player that's not physically up to the demands.
And you cannot have him and Alan playing in there.
No, that's true.
So that's my point.
Stu, what do you think? Where do you think we'll? Oh, I didn't ask you for prediction. Where are we going to finish?
I think we'll finish with a good wind, 4th or 5th.
I'm going to have to. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get 4th. Okay. Stu, what do you think? We need to bring.
Sorry, I would like to categorise that by saying because I think Arsenal are going to fuck it up this year.
Okay.
Spurs will finish 3rd.
Players to bring in for me.
Not necessarily players.
I don't know what position it is, but I just we need somebody either in the midfield or as part of the attack, which is going to help and build on what Suarez has got, rather than it be all about what Suarez does. Once we give him the ball, I think he needs to have someone to play, whether that's somebody from midfield shooting in or whether it's someone alongside him up front. And I think he believes he's got that in Sterling, but let's be honest, that's putting a lot of pressure on Sterling, and I don't think he needs it. I think we can buy someone who can. It's not about the goals as such. Like we've said this in every week. It's sort of Liverpool get towards the goal, but then when we get towards the goal, the past 10 yards to somebody seems to go nowhere.
The interesting thing will be with Suarez, because he does seem like someone there's a lot going on in his head. And it's about his and the trust around him. And even if we did bring in Sturridge, Walcott, Ince, Bar, whatever, would he then gel with them? Because it did seem that even the chance where we could have passed it to Gerrard earlier, it was almost as though goal scoring That's what I do here.
Yeah, but that's not how it worked at Ajax, though, was it? I mean, Ajax, he played wide, didn't he?
Yeah, but things have changed since then. I mean, now he's one of the most spoken about strikers in the world.
When there was him and Sterling going, and really Sterling should have just gone and took the ball, and Sterling immediately just played the ball. It was a bad ball, and then the goalie saved it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And you were thinking,
I think
Suarez should have been the distraction.
I think Ian's got a point there because he played right of the three. Obviously, when he played for Ajax, and he had a strong centre forward partner in Huntelaar to pass the ball to and play off. I think you might have hit the nail on the head though, Stu's one from the weekend, hitting nails on the head. Somebody said that on 606 about 14 times in one call. But I think you've, hit the nail on the head there. It's the personality of the person, and that may be why someone like Sturridge is in the frame, because Sturridge is no shrinking violet, Shelvey is no shrinking violet. These are people that, if Louis fucks up, are quite happy to turn around and say, what the fuck are you doing?
But then if you look at when he played with Huntelaar was the main man.
Yeah.
And because he was the main man, Suarez played his role. But now he knows he's the main man.
Well, don't you think?
And because he knows he's the main man, that is really how it's
in
playing.
the front three, that if Sturridge was, say, the middle, and you had Suarez on one side, and it doesn't matter who's on the other side then, and then the two on either side have got the whole of the pitch to run across, haven't they? So Suarez can essentially do what Gerrard did when he was up front, is basically play anywhere you bleeding want.
And I actually think...
And that would be... No defender be able to pick him up.
And I actually think if we do get... it's any combination of Ince, Walcott, Sturridge, Suarez, any combination of those three, any permutation that Rodgers should be saying, we're going to start like this, but at any time, any one of you three could be anywhere up there. That is because then you start getting the defenders having to mark zones.
That's Chelsea's back three playing
They can't then mark man. No. They have to mark zones. And once you start marking zones like that, it's easier then to slip in the gaps. Because when we started conceding so many goals from zonal defence, it's horrendous. Zones don't score goals. Players do. But if the players are clever and start finding those little gaps because no one's tracking them and they keep doing that running, because that is the hardest time to mark someone. When they start crossing over their runs, very difficult to pick up. Do you stay with your man? Does the man stay with and hold the position? And that split second of indecision...
The way it's supposed to work is it's supposed to be Alan. Right? It's supposed to be Alan or Gerrard, but it's supposed to be Alan. If you're playing the 1 and the 2, let's say Alan picks the ball up. From Brendan's press conference, he was fairly open about it because there's no way, you're right, there's no way you can defend it, and it's how Chelsea's front three play behind a forward. We've just taken the forward out and moved the three.
I was going to say, it's like what you described as sort of
it's exactly what you've got to do. Is what you get is the ball's supposed to go to someone like Alan and Gerrard, and these two are supposed to switch automatically, right? Or you've got three options. These two switch, that one stays static. They're not supposed to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now Manchester United go 1, 2, 3, but it's the power and the strength of the Man United team and the quality in the two star players they've got up front.
And the confidence for the other midfielders to come and make numbers in the box.
You've got someone like Rooney. See, what you want is Suarez to play a Rooney type role because Van Persie doesn't really move, right? And Rooney goes where he wants.
But he does. I mean, Van Persie does move, but he's very effective where he goes, and he can still hit it from 30 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, if you're marking him, do you follow him to the edge of the box? Do you say to him, carry it? Because if he carries it and he gets inside 30 yards, he will hit it, and so will Rooney. So then you think, do I get close? Well, if you get too close, he's dragged you right out of where you need to be. The important thing is, though, and Brendan Rodgers talks a lot about transition and moving, that when they are making those crossing overs, those runs, that is when the ball has got to go. Yeah, because if they run and get to those positions, then they just get picked up by the fullbacks. That is really where the fullback wants them.
And the pace that we spoke about at Villa, that's exactly the problem we had at Villa.
And the goals were scored
because those moves broke down because the communication wasn't there. And instead of Sterling, and because you've got Shelvey who can't do that because it's not his position, you haven't got people switching. So that's when it comes to Louis, and that's when Louis runs backwards and forwards across the line and runs out of options at the moment.
So Stewie,
yes,
we've got a fourth, a sixth.
It would seem rude not to say fifth, really, wouldn't it?
Fuck, that's putting a lot of pressure on me.
I'm not. My honest view is I just.
You going 3 or 7?
I want to finish either than 8th.
Was it Nasher said last week? I want to be 7th. I don't want to be in the fucking.
You know, the thing is, the truth is, it's now not even so much the league position; it's how many points behind.
60 points. 65. Is it 65 points gets you Champions League, doesn't it?
Should do. And
that should get you thought. That's been like the last 5 or 6 years.
Well, that's not going to happen this year.
You don't think
everyone's taking points off everyone? It'd be a bit
okay, so if we get
35 points will keep you up this year.
So if our target is 60 points, then we should be there or thereabouts, shouldn't we? We could be 6th. Yeah. We could be 4th.
Yeah. I'd rather have a points target than a placing target.
I wasn't offering you that option.
That's a different show.
That was an editorial meeting.
I personally, I think we need a goal scorer. I don't care how old he is, what he looks like, where he comes from. We just need where we just need a goal scorer. I don't care how big he is, how small he is, or whatever. If he's a goal scorer, if he scores goals, Barini who scores goals, that'd be great. I just want someone to sit there and just score goals.
You know,
what do you think of Bar?
What
do you think of Demba Bar being there?
I don't care if it's him. If he scores me goals, I don't give a damn. But I don't think Bar scores enough goals for me to you know. I think Jermaine Defoe would be great for me.
Do you know, in the last 12 months, Lionel Messi has scored more goals than Liverpool Football Club.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, you say Defoe. Defoe's an interesting one because he's a brilliant goal scorer. Yeah. But if he's playing for Liverpool, the way that Rodgers wants us playing, I'm not sure if that's the right player.
You'd have one
I'd still take him. I see so many balls just being wasted in that last.
I love it. See, I would have loved Defoe to have been there with Torres.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago.
I think that would have been perfect time. Or Crouch, that would have been perfect time.
Or even I know he's a terrible footballer, and I know blah blah blah. He can't even get in a Villa team. But Darren Bent, I'm sorry. He's not a great footballer, but he fucking scores goals. Wherever he goes, he scores.
Has the Rafa appointment sort of kiboshed any idea that Torres could come back with what they owe? Based on what they owe us half the money, so it's like
we were told a long way that there was 24 million still to pay. And part of the reason that Roberto got the hook was lots of reasons, but part of the reason Roberto got the hook was he went, I can't do this. I want to get rid of him. We owe Liverpool half the money. Let's just give him back. He wants to go back. So that was what the agents' discussions were.
The kid in the Liverpool kit,
and the truth will all come out about my transfer, blah, blah. I never really wanted to go under those circumstances.
Torres and Suarez will be.
I'll tell you what, if we could get him back,
I'll take him
as is. Yeah. I would take him.
I think him and Suarez would be
because that's what he was bought for. Suarez was bought to be the right hand foil for Torres. Then we sold Torres
because I then think if you had them two with Gerrard behind them, that would be something very, 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 very special.
Totally. The other thing is that if we can't get
Torres back.
If we can't get a striker, I think we need a player in midfield, whether he's a big powerful or a player with fucking massive cojones. Somebody who's
Alonso, you mean?
Not necessarily Alonso, but somebody who's an experienced player who you go, right, when we had Gerrard carrying the team for all that time and then Torres came in, you think, fucking hell, we've got 2 of these players now, that's brilliant, we're much better already. Sadly, Gerrard isn't that player anymore. We've got one player who does that, who's just Suarez. We fucking need another one. And we need a really good, really strong, powerful player who comes on the pitch and who can test Suarez. No, fuck off, you go over there, I'm doing this.
The other interesting thing is, personality-wise, that Gerrard is Mr. Liverpool. Yeah. And I think as long as he's fit, that is how it's going to be for a little bit. And that is, that could be the gift or the curse.
I watched Saturday's game and I thought to myself that because Gerrard's never been a captain to be the. Do you know Ian? I think don't worry about that shot. Player. He just runs and everybody goes, let's follow him. But actually, when you're 2-0 down against Villa at half time, I don't think anybody was probably looking at Gerrard for what to do. And that's kind of where you want.
He's a player that always led by
example.
Be
more useful there, wouldn't he?
And when he can't, when his legs are going, or he doesn't quite know what his position is, he can't lead by example. So then he's not kind of doing his job either way there. I'm not dissing Gerrard. I think he's fantastic. No. And I think maybe you're right. Maybe if he was being played a bit further forward. Well, I'd quite like to see him on the right, to be honest with you.
Torres back to Liverpool.
You'd love that, wouldn't you?
I think before Benitez went there, I think it was a possibility.
It was a distinct possibility for. It was at one point, Spoony, we were looking at Sturridge and Torres coming out of Chelsea at one point.
But you don't think Benitez will let him come there now?
I don't think the board would. Having said that, Abramovich is not now going to sell him because he's brought Rafa in to get the best out of Torres. But also, are they going to let the Liverpool manager sell the ex-Liverpool striker back to Liverpool?
But if they buy Falcao in January,
I don't think they'll care. That's still apparently a done deal.
Yeah.
It's 84 million quid.
So I think we will finish. I think we'll finish fifth. I'll miss out on Champions League.
Just because we're coming up to Christmas, I had this lovely quote, because I know you've met and interviewed and you had quite a lot of respect for Mr. Ferguson.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to know how effective a manager is, what do they say? Judge a man by the quality of his enemies. I look at this lovely quote from Alex Ferguson. It's not totally Liverpool related, apart from that. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? You would have thought they would have waited to give the guy, Robbie Di Matteo, a chance to win it, the Club World Cup. Rafa Benitez is very lucky because on his CV he could have 2 World Club Championships. He's had nothing to do with either of the teams. Judge a man by the quality of his
the thing is, there's no reason for him to comment on that.
No.
He's like you say, Benitez.
But he does it because he can.
I know, but if Benitez or Rodgers or anybody's commenting on United, he'd be fucking furious, wouldn't he? He'd be absolutely furious.
It's kind of like when he turned around and said about the Suarez and he should never ever play for Liverpool again. Yeah. But you know he did back Cantona to the hilt.
Yeah. Who attacked him back the crowd.
But with Sir Alex Ferguson, you know it's all mind games with him. He's just stoking the fire.
He saw a threat and he thought, I can make this threat a weakness.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's cast iron. Now we're going to finish fifth.
Have you worked out the averages?
Excuse me. Fifth or sixth, because based on you've got to listen to Ian's pre-match predictions, because if you're ever feeling in a bad place or miserable about things, one of Ian's weekly pre-match warm-ups are well worth
they a bit down?
Have you not read the review on Facebook?
No, I haven't. No.
There's a strange man wandering around keeping psychotherapy.
Although to be honest with you, Ian, you did this week. You were with the Rodgers wave of
optimism.
You were going for saying, I think 2-0. It's for at home.
Well, I'm thinking now.
Be miserable about
I'm thinking now, because I remember when we beat that season, we beat Man United 4-0 and then we beat Real Madrid 4-0. I went for a period of on a forum of everybody just putting in predictions in, and I said, we're fucking because we had a period before that where we were terrible, and I predicted, right, we're fucking useless. We're going to get hammered 4-0, and then we won the game 4-0, and I thought, right, I'm going to do percent prediction. So I did it about 6 times, and we won 6 games in a row or something ridiculous. We went on a massive run. So
you're going to sacrifice your chance of the weekly warm-up?
Yes, I think I'm just going to start predicting we're going to lose every game.
Yeah, manage those expectations.
Absolutely.
Win-win.
So our next game, I'm not going to predict. What I'm going to say is Fulham next weekend. Again, as we all said, it's a winnable game. Again, I don't think Fulham are any mugs. There doesn't seem to be any mugs in this league anymore, do there?
Well, isn't it weird that we murdered Norwich 5-2 and now they're above us?
Yeah, well,
that speaks volumes for the season.
This league, I mean,
a little bit of sick came up there.
But it's surreal, isn't it? That.
And then we've got Stoke away on Boxing Day, which is
quite appropriate, really.
Yeah,
Boxing Day against
on Boxing Day.
You take a point there any day.
Isn't it Wrestling Day?
Yeah. Again, like we said, both winnable games, I think. But what we should do
Britannia, winnable.
What we should do, well, I think it is. If you play football against them, or if you take them on playing wrestling, we're going to lose.
That's the worst.
I don't think.
Keep the ball on the ground and pass. Actually, strangely, we'll beat.
Our squad isn't really equipped for Stoke because we're not physically strong enough and we're not skillful enough. That's my only problem with Stoke. You know, like
break them down.
Yeah, they're just. They're just strong.
They could look at the Villa game, couldn't they?
Yeah.
And just go right.
Yeah.
Every single Liverpool player that gets it, run at them and go ah.
They'll be fancying that against us.
Yeah, I tell you. Okay, you want my thoughts? Fulham. I'm just dreading seeing Berbatov at Anfield again. I hate the sight of Berbatov at Anfield. But we do get to see Risa. back at Anfield, which will be a nice moment. Not actually going to be there first for one of the very few times.
Has he scored yet for Fulham?
Yes, hasn't he got one? He has got one.
He nearly gift wrapped a beautiful present for QPR on the weekend as well. So
yeah, he has scored one. Yeah.
I would say that Stoke. If I wouldn't be surprised to see Quatters playing three centre halves.
I'd love him to play the 3 centre halves against Stoke. Yeah. So that'd be a very good.
Because actually, it's a game for Quatters. That, although he is prone to the odd mistake.
I think the thing, because you know that Crouch is going to be good and strong in the air, but not necessarily quick on the floor. That is good for Quatters. If he's playing against someone who's a little bit lively on the ground, he might get found out. But I think we've got to match him there and go big for big. And Ace can still play.
I think big for big at the back, but I think on the floor.
That's a game. Funny enough, although he'll probably be, he'll still be there though. That's a game for where your midfield is possibly Henderson, Shelvey, Gerrard, Lucas, and go 4-4-1 up front, and then break from midfield. That's a game. That's a man's game.
See, I disagree. I think if man's game at the back, but if you play football against them, they won't be able to cope. They've got Charlie Adam playing in midfield. He played quick football against Charlie Adam.
That'll be 3 of our players taken out then, won't it?
Well, we'll see. I'm not going to give my predictions yet, but I think both games are eminently winnable.
I was going to say that talking of getting the left back, the Swansea left back, but he's injured at the moment. Neil, what's his surname? He's injured. He got injured quite early in the season. If he becomes available, that's the future. And if we need to sign him before Man United do, because if they don't sign Leighton Baines, they'll go him. If he was fit, he would be on their radar. I saw him play for the under-21s, the Olympic squad, and he was one of the shining lights. Brilliant.
So it's quite exciting. I think again, as always, I don't know the transfer window is the ruination of football, along with Chelsea and Man City. But I find the transfer window quite exciting. I always do. I get goosebumps.
Well, this one particularly, because we basically ended up.
Well, last one was exciting. It was fucking exciting for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, we ended up thinking we were going to get the world, and we got none of them.
Yeah,
and a couple of players on loan that we thought, all right, we'll see what we can do. And we've not done anything, have we? Really?
No. When's Marini fit?
End of the month. He should be ready for contention for January again.
Right. Okay.
It's just bodies on the bench. Let's put it this way.
I know. Yeah.
We had three defenders and one holding midfield player on the bench on the weekend.
Why? Because we have got young. Said is a good little player.
Yeah, but he's decided like with Yessel, and Yessel's playing with the next generation, isn't he?
Yeah.
Really
also, the next gen team. Don't forget, we should just say got all the way to the final and lost in the final. To an extremely good Spanish side. Yeah. No, was it Portuguese? Spanish side.
We didn't win it anyway. I don't care.
No, but we did fantastically well.
Yeah.
So.
All right, marvellous. Well, I think that's it. That's the end of part 3. We haven't got part 4, have we? Got part 4?
But I'll just say, obviously, as we mentioned before, you can follow us on Twitter, which is WER Liverpool Co. You can also follow Spoony on Twitter.
DJ Spoony. Easy, that one.
You can also follow these two reprobates. I know yours is Leighton Rocks down there at Leighton Rocks. Ian?
I don't want to give mine away. _egg. I know, I'll explain it to
in 140 characters.
It's flat egg.
All 140.
Like the Facebook page, download the podcast. But just also to let you know, of course, we are going to be having, over Christmas, you will be getting the Pass and Move Christmas Party, which is the season review. Lots of guests from the past. And then you've got simply having Have I Got Moose for You, a wonderful Christmas.
So you're going to do this then, are you? You're going to do this quiz?
I'm hosting the quiz. You're a team captain and Stuart's a team captain.
How about that?
Yeah.
I haven't had the phone call yet.
That's terrifying. Well, I think that's for the best. Well, that's going to ruin tomorrow night for me. Then we're going to do it tomorrow night. Yes, lovely. Okay, thank you very much. Lovely to see you again, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Good to see you again.
I'm taking everybody's hand now. This is what's going on here. Oh, shake hands, everybody. Come on.
You've got to do the Penny Rainer and bang your studs
against them. I'll do that. Thank you very much, everybody, and onwards and upwards. We will adjourn again next week. Do one next week as well?
No, this will be. We're sort of doing that famous Christmas pre-record tomorrow.
Oh, are we?
We're certainly having a wonderful Christmas time tomorrow.
Right, rocking good news.